Hey. Okay, so I've been talking a lot about content batching lately because it's something that I'm working on right now. And so if I'm out of breath by the end of this video, that's why. But I just had this conversation with one of my clients actually, because although batching content seems like a great idea, or having a content strategy seems like a really great idea, it's also really difficult. When I first started trying to put out consistent content, I was just so bad at it. I wasn't consistent, and even when I was creating content, it was taking me so long to do that I just felt like it wasn't actually worth my time because it was a free video or a free blog post, and it was just so much effort for something that didn't actually lead to a sale directly, right? If you have your funnel in place, then yes, your content should lead to your funnel, blah blah blah. We've been talking about that, but it still felt like, okay, I just put out a video on YouTube and now I'm just like waiting for the results to come in, right? And so if you're anything like me, and if content, creating content is one of those things that you kind of struggle with, or you're like a little bit inconsistent with, I'm going to show you the process that works really well for me, someone who has a tendency to procrastinate and tends to take a long time for creative things like this, especially if you get hung up on like, I really want my content to be so good. And you can kind of get just kind of tripped up in that spot. I feel you. And I'm going to show you the system that works for me. I don't know if this will work for everyone, but it's what I now almost always recommend because it really helps in making the batching process that much easier. So batching basically just means that you film like maybe 4 videos at a time or something like that. Or if you are, doing a blog, you write 4 blogs at one time. So you're kind of doing more all at once. And the problem that I find with batching is that a lot of times it can be extremely labor intensive. If you're having trouble keeping up by creating one piece of content every single week, how the hell are you going to create a whole month's worth of content in just one day of the month or a couple days throughout the month? Right. And so what I find actually works best is to batch kind of in steps. Let me explain what that means. So what I originally would do when I was trying to batch is I would plan my content, film my content, edit my content, write the blog that goes with it, write the email that goes with it, write the social post that goes with it, schedule that, find the images, and I would do it from beginning to end like so. And I would either do that throughout the week that I wanted that content to come out, like I would start on Monday and the video would come out on Thursday kind of a thing, or I would try to do all of that in one day, and I was like exhausted by the end of it. So what I do now works way better. And let me show you exactly how it works. I'm from looking over here. It's because that's where my template is that I use every single month. So I want to make sure that I'm not missing anything. So the first thing that I do, and I actually have a product. You can actually steal my content planner. I'll put the link down here. You can get my exact document that we literally duplicate month after month. And we've been using for maybe 3 years now, I think. And I'm obsessed with it. So the first thing that I do, first thing in my batch process, and I generally give myself a whole day for this, or like by a day, I mean like 3 to 4 hours, like a chunk of time. And I try to get a whole quarter's worth of stuff done at once when I'm doing this process. The first thing that I do is I open up my little template and I just ideate. I just come up with the ideas that I want to come out over the next couple of weeks. So first I'll be like, okay, it's June. We need 4 videos in June because I put out videos every Tuesday. Let me come up with 4 sick things that I want to talk about, stuff that people have asked me about maybe recently, or this is also the point where I would be thinking like, okay, what's my next product that I'm launching? I want to make sure that I'm creating content that makes sense with that product or stuff like that. So I just come up with ideas. And I don't have like a really cool title for the ideas or exactly what I'm going to talk about. I just say something about batching content. That would be one little bullet point. Then the next step, the same day, then I go to each one of those ideas. So now let's say I have like 3 months worth. So, all of Q2's ideas I have written down. Then I try to come up with a really sexy title for each one of those ideas, because how to batch, it's not that sexy. So I probably call this video, or I actually have it written here, how to batch your content the productive way. You probably see that above this video. I think that's a little bit more of a catchier title than just like my batching process, although maybe that could work. So then the next thing I do is I write a really sexy title for each one of those ideas that I have. Okay. And see how I'm doing like tasks together. So when I'm in just like idea mode, I'm doing all my ideas. When I'm in title, like, okay, this is my like marketing brain mode, I do all my titles. Then the next thing that I do is I write a bullet point for each one of those titles. This is kind of an optional step, I guess, but I really recommend it. You'll see that when we put out our videos, in the caption, I usually have one or two little like teasers of what this video is going to be about. And that way people get a little bit more insight into whether or not they want to watch the video. I think that's really valuable. So then I write one or two bullets for each one of my sexy titles that I have now. So now at this point, I have an idea, I have a really sexy title, and I have two little teasers or bullet points that go with each title. That's really important because now when we go to post this video, all you're going to see is my title, my idea, which I'm talking about right now, and my two bullets. So that part is done. Then, still within the same day, what I do is I scroll down on my template and I have a little spot where I write the email that goes along with this video. So I've already written the email usually that goes along with the video that I'm filming right now. And I keep it short and sweet because sometimes I riff and say random things in the video that maybe, I didn't plan for in the email. And I also don't want the email to be, and this is just me, some people do it differently. I don't want the email to be so in depth that I feel like I have to say all those things in the video, because whenever I have a video script, I just don't feel as confident. I feel like, oh, I gotta say that cool thing I said when I was writing. So I write kind of a loose email that's like, hey, let's actually see what the email that goes along with this is going to be like. So yeah, okay. So this email says, wanted on a not so secret. Before taking maternity leave, I batched an entire year of content to go out automatically. I'm doing it right now. And so, I wrote an email that kind of shares about my batching process and how I'm doing it and what I'm doing. And I get people excited about being like, whoa, that's crazy. You can batch a whole year of content, and you can do it before you go on vacation or before you go on maternity leave or before, you have a big project and you know that you're probably going to slack on your content workflow. Let me see how she does it. And it kind of entices people to click on the link and watch the video. So I write all of those emails all at the same time. The process is idea, sexy title, bullets, email. Now I do all of that in one day. Then in another day, I'll record, and I'll try to batch record as many as possible. So I can almost never get a whole quarter's worth of videos done in one day. I actually find recording videos kind of challenging, where it takes it out of me. It makes me feel like I need a break. Whereas writing comes a little bit easier to me. So that's where you kind of want to like find your own groove. Maybe you could record like 20 videos in one day and you would have no problem with that. So then what I would do is I put a couple chunks of time in my calendar over the next month to batch record a couple of videos. So I generally try to record like 2 or 3 in one day. But sometimes when I'm not super batching like I am right now, I'm just like 1 or 2 weeks ahead. So if this, if this video would come out the following week, but I have my ideas, I have the titles, I have the emails. So all I have to do is film the video, pop the link in, and we're good to go. So that's my exact batching process. If you're curious about what the post process looks like, maybe I'll share that in another video coming out soon. But I hope you give this a try and maybe even steal my exact template and, try getting in there, like maybe just for 1 month, and see if you find that this helps you become a little bit more consistent, because consistency really is, invaluable when it comes to attraction marketing, and when it comes to really getting your audience to trust you and to like expect content from you in some way. And that trust really creates like it creates the right environment for someone to make a purchase, because you want to work with someone who you're like, yeah, they're not going MIA. They put out content every single week. The content has good quality. It's always solving problems that I, have coming up for me. So I really do think that their course, something that I would have to pay for, is super valuable, right? So it's pretty obvious. And the more that they get to see you, the more they have that feeling of like, I feel like I know you, right? And it's because we've been just sort of hanging out like this, or in a podcast, or even just by getting your emails or reading your blog, right? So give it a shot. Let me know if that helps you. And if you're intimidated by batching, don't be. Just, start out with something small and see how it goes. Okay, bye.